It's time for baseball's last frontier, stories from the Pecos League, the podcast that will open your door to baseball's entry level, telling you the stories of the teams, players, and coaches of an independent minor league circuit. I'm your host, Bruce McClure, and I have the pleasure of introducing you to my friend, partner, co-host, and man on the inside, Evan Katz. Evan, how are you?
Good morning, Bruce. It's about 8:30 on what day is this anyway? We're in
Well, it's
Iola,
funny.
Kansas. Remember a few years ago there was some talk about Tampa and Montreal using two franchises during the season. Well, as we always say, anything can happen in the Pecos League, and we've got a two-city franchise experiment going here. We played yesterday in Kansas City at Satchel Paige Stadium, historic early 20th century stadium. And then last night we played here in Iola at Allen Community College. And it's very quiet out here, nice ballpark. And we unfortunately lost, had a 5-game winning streak snapped last night. We were enjoying being here in Iola in some duplex apartments, sharing some team meals as we've cooked out. And we're hoping to regroup tonight and get back on the winning track.
Well, it's funny. I can tell you what day it is for one main reason, because we are recording this on Tuesday, June 10th, 2025, which just so happens to be, wait for it, my 57th birthday.
Oh, congratulations, Bruce. You share your birthday with my sister.
Oh, is that right? Is that right? Oh, geez. I also share a birthday, from what I'm told by a member of the Society for American Baseball Research, with former Seattle Mariners pitcher Floyd Bannister. So that's
okay.
I have two feathers in my cap right now. So, so why don't you tell me a little bit about last week, Evan?
Well, we left at the climactic moment of hoping to bring professional baseball back to McCook, Nebraska, due to a scheduling conflict, but unfortunately it poured. They got 7 inches of rain in McCook. I think that was last Tuesday. So we got rained out. Our 2 games with Santa Fe were rained out, and Thursday, the 80s spent 3 hours preparing the field for a game. We'd had 3 games rained out. We had shop vacs, squeegees. We dragged the field, put on hundreds of pounds of dirt to fill some wet spots. It was a Herculean effort by the 80s to get the field ready, and very, very impressive. And we ended up winning that game 7-4. Trevor Nelson left the game with a 3-2 lead, and ultimately we pulled that one out 7-4. But that was a nice way to get back on the winning track.
7 inches of rain, really?
Yeah, that's what happens. The fronts come from the northwest out here. This is tornado season, so you've got that big contrast between the warm, humid air from the south and the cool air from the north. So yeah, so that was the first game. That was the first game against Trinidad. We swept that series, winning the second one 8-5, and then the last one 7-1. As I mentioned earlier, our hitting has really come around. Kobe Tweeten has had a bunch of RBIs. Ivan Santos had a 2 RBI hit in the 8-5 win. In the 7-1 win, Ben Smith, our pitcher, went 8 innings, got 2 hits, scored 2 runs. It was really, as we know, there's no designated here in the Pecos League, and he is just rising to the occasion. Spent some time with him in the batting cage, watching him prepare, and it was really very rewarding to see a guy work hard and then be able to contribute in a 7-1 win. Jumping around a little bit here, I just want to point out, I think I mentioned earlier that 80s manager Todd Everleth is an unconventional manager. In that 7-4 win to open that series against Trinidad, he pulled off a double steal to help cement that win. And he's always looking for opportunities. We had another opportunity where there were runners at first and second. Our number 3 hitter is up, nobody out, puts down a bunt. I think those 2 runs ended up scoring. So Todd is always looking for ways to catch the opposition off guard, get us ahead, or to stretch out the lead.
I'm not so sure I would call a double steal unconventional, but I would certainly call it exciting. I think the one thing that I would say is at this point a little unconventional about the Pecos League is the fact that pitchers bat in this league, one of the last two professional leagues in the world where the pitcher bats. There was actually an article this week on Fansided. If you folks listening on the podcast today get a chance to get out to fansided.com, search this article, The Pecos League at 15, Independent Baseball's Wildest Survivor. And there was an interesting quote here in the article that says, Commissioner Andrew Dunn, I fight it every day, meaning the DH. These managers, they try, but just no. This league is the last one not doing it, and we never will, not as long as I'm alive. So it looks like pitchers are here to stay in the batter's box, huh?
Absolutely, and we have other our pitchers who haven't hit for a while. I've been watching the pitchers take batting practice in the outfield, and during the first week of the season, it was a sorry sight. But now there's plenty of line drives and long fly balls coming off the bats of the pitchers. And yes, I stand corrected on the double steal, but first and third is just a great opportunity to take advantage of.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. So you're at 5-2 at this point, and
5-3 after the loss last night. I'm sorry to say, we were really enjoying our 5-game winning streak.
Oh, 5-3 now, right?
Yeah.
Am I adding that up right?
Yes, we're good. Yes, it's like keeping track of what day it is out here. You can't quite remember your record. You got to dig into your phone to find the Pecos League standings to remind you where we are.
Many of our listeners know that I'm in real life, I run furniture stores. I can't barely remember what day of the week it is, let alone you. I know the feeling. So you had some interesting stories to tell me about last week. Can you tell me a little bit about learning to chew sunflower seeds?
Oh, absolutely. So, I think last week I mentioned I was a late comer to hacky sack, and now I can say I'm a late comer to chewing sunflower seeds. I got to credit a fellow sidearm pitcher, John Lugering, for teaching me how to chew sunflower seeds, explaining to me you got to break them apart, put the meat under your tongue, and then spit out the shells. So I've now become an expert in less than 2 days. So I want to thank John for that.
I'm impressed. You can add that to your long resume of accomplishments in baseball and life. Good. There you go.
I could tell you, though, we did fail. We did fail in one area. I think I told you we have a lot of players away from home for the first time. And this player claims he knew he should not wash his white pants with red garments and end up with pink pants. I don't know how it happened, but we ended up with a player with a pink tinge to his white pants because he forgot to separate his colors from his whites. So that's where we're going to have to provide more guidance to these players who are away from home and college from the first time.
So now you got to teach them how to wash their clothes too, huh?
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, Bruce.
I'm sorry. I was going to ask you as if you were adding pink to the official list of colors for your team, but I guess not, huh?
No, we're good. We got blue jerseys and red jerseys. Those are our two colors. So before we jump to the current date, I just want to mention that last Saturday, in order to get here to Kansas City in time to get to bed before our game, we had to have baseball and breakfast. We played our game last Saturday at 9 a.m. And I was also up in the broadcast booth as the PA announcer. We were missing our PA announcer for a couple of days. Todd was able to keep the communication going with the bullpen, and I had a lot of fun up in the press box announcing the players. I included the first time through the order, I put their hometown, mentioned their hometown when they hit, and the second time their college, just to let the fans get to know them a little bit better. And I think they really enjoyed hearing that. And the last thing is, we had a youth camp one day, I believe it was Friday, and this is 9 o'clock in the morning. We play a game. We don't get to bed till midnight. The players are back at 9 o'clock. We had 40 players teens and younger for instruction, games with the team. It's a way to raise money to pay the players' salaries. The 40 players that were there, that equaled the number that came last year to 3 camps. So we're really excited about the enthusiasm the 80s are generating in North Platte. And then, of course, that night, I stuck my head out of the PA booth as we were promoting the next camp when we're home. And I asked, how many kids were at the baseball camp this morning? And I got about 6 or 7 hands. So it's also a way to encourage the kids to come to the games.
You know what they got to do is they've got to get you when you're up there as PA, 7th inning stretch. You got to do your best Harry Carey.
I think we put country music on those two nights.
Well, I'm going to have to
maybe we'll have the PA announcer work that in when he's back. Maybe he does. I might have missed it when I was out in the bullpen the first few games.
Just more of the unconventional Pecos. All right, so you've got an interview for us today. Tell us who you've got and what's going on.
Yes, we have Derick Dominguez, who is managing the KC Iola Hormigas. And I met Derick 2 years ago when I had my brief appearance with Alpine, but he is the Odysseus of the Pecos League. Derick Dominguez has been on an endless journey, just like in Homer's Odyssey. In 2023, he managed the Austin Weirdos, who lost their home field early in the year, and then they became a travel team. Last year, he managed the Austin Weirdos, who were scheduled to be an all-travel team for the entire season. And this year, they were planning to be based in Kansas City, and now they have games at 2 fields at home 100 miles apart. So Derick is going to join us, give his reflections on some of the prior years and how he sees the Hormigas looking for this year and life on the road in the Pecos League.
All right, so we're going to cut to the interview with Derick, and then we'll be back in just a few moments. So enjoy this interview, and we'll see you on the other side.
We're here in Iola, Kansas at Allen Community College, where the Kansas City Iola Hormigas are playing most of their home games. I'm here with their manager, Derick Dominguez, who I actually met a couple of years ago when he was managing the Austin Weirdos, and I had a chance to pitch for him. One of my favorite Derick stories is I'm out there with guys on base on the mound. Derick asked me, "Can you get the ball down? Can you get that ball down?" I said, "Absolutely." And I got the batter to ground into a 6-4-3 double play to end the inning. So I want to thank Derick for that great mound visit. Welcome to baseball's last frontier, Derick.
Hey, thanks for having me, Alpha. Thank you for having me. Good to see you again.
Well, thanks for joining us here. Derick is here managing the Kansas City Iola Hormigas. He came to the Pecos League in 2023 with Austin, again in 2024, and now he's here in Kansas City. Derick, can you tell us, how did you get involved in the Pecos League back in 2023?
Well, it all started actually in 2017 when the American Association asked the Pecos League to put a travel team together and play Laredo's schedule for that year. So I was part of the Pecos then, and in 2022 I was an assistant in Colorado Springs. Turned out to be halfway midpoint. Turned out to be a travel situation as well. 2023 went to a game out there in Austin. The Weirdos were playing Alpine, I believe, and that night Andrew called me and told me, "Hey, I'm going to make Austin a travel team. Do you want to take it on?" And I agreed. Gave me a couple days to get out there, and 2024, 2025, here I am, back on the road.
So you got to help us with the urban legend of 2023 in Austin. So you weren't there at the beginning of the year, but what happened? Is it how that they lost their home field and you went from a traditional team with games at home and the road to being an all-road team? What happened in Austin that year?
I'm not exactly sure what happened, but it had to do with the use of the field, I guess the travel. I mean, it was just a whole lot of things that played into that for put Austin on the road. It made a lot more sense for them to go on the road, finish off the season. So, yeah, that's how I'm not exactly sure, but went on the road, and it was quite an adventure. Yeah.
So Austin finished its schedule after the beginning of June. Most of the schedule on the road. 2024 Austin was an all-road team, and So, Derick, I guess the question is, right now in 2025, you're playing your Sunday games in Kansas City when you're home, and then you're here in Iola, which is about 100 miles southwest. So you do have a home field, but how do you attract and retain players? I mean, the Pecos League, for guys that are hungry, I think they want to come here, but it's a little different when you're on the road a lot. How do you attract and retain players so you can keep your team going and keep your players being positive?
I mean, for the most part, these guys, they really love the game. You have to love the game to be out here, to spend the kind of money you spend out here to play the game, So there's these guys that are out here with me right now, they love it, and they make it work somehow, and it's crazy to see how much they sacrifice just to play the game of baseball.
What types of players do you find adapt well to the situation where if you're on the road or you have two fields that are home that are 100 miles apart? What are the characteristics you think that make players be able to adapt and be successful?
Well, you get some of the young guys, that are just finishing up their college careers, and some of them didn't even get to go home. They go straight from college to the summer. So it's just for them. It's just an extended period of season for them. Hoping for an opportunity to get seen and hopefully have a better opportunity in a better league next year.
And I think this year the league, the Pecos League, is partnering several of its team with the Mexican League.
Yes.
And you've got a number of players from Mexico. How are they adapting to this? And what are the prospects for them? I mean, they're in a slightly different trajectory. You have some guys coming from college. Now you've got some guys from the Mexican League. How is that working out so far?
Well, the guys from the Mexican League, they're very young still. I mean, they're 18. Two of them are 18. One's 19. Tejada's 23. They're young, and I mean, their goal is to play in the big leagues in Mexico one day, and that's what their guys in the Bravos. That's what they have them over here to get a little more, see a little more on our side of baseball, and they're loving it so far. So.
And how does that work for you as a manager? You've got some guys who are still in their teens. Mm-hmm. You've got some guys who are in college. What do you have to do as a manager to kind of to keep those guys all going in the right direction when you're on the road so much?
Yeah, well, these guys, for the most part, they police themselves very well. Pick up after themselves. They watch after each other. Especially after the young ones, they need help. Littlest thing is laundry or where to eat dinner. I mean, there's older guys that'll bring them on and make them feel safe around us. Comfortable.
And are there any language or cultural barriers that you have to keep an eye out for to make sure the Mexican League players are able to feel comfortable here?
Yes, I mean, we have, for the most part, they speak all Spanish, no English, but we do have a mix of Cubans, Dominicans, so they're well with the team, It's not like we have guys that talk the same language, so it makes it easier for them. For the first week they were here, they were a little uncomfortable, a lot of Americans, all English, but then more guys came on and they're starting to get a little more comfortable, with the guys that are coming together now.
And how's the arrangement working out here in Iola? We're here on the college campus of Allen Community College. We're over across the street. Mm-hmm. The Red Devil duplexes are where the road teams stay, and then there's a 3-story dorm. How are those arrangements working out for the team so far?
Oh, it's great. I mean, we got 23 guys right now and 20 beds, but we make it work. I mean, you can't ask for a better setup than this. I mean, you got the field. You can walk from here. You got the weight room that opens from 8 to 4. I mean, if guys want to get extra work in, they can. Visiting team as well, they can go in there as well. We have great facilities here. Doug, AD here, he's done a lot. He's offered everything he lets us borrow all the equipment, and he goes above and beyond for us.
So it works out for the players. The field's right across the street. And how many games have you played here so far?
We played one so far. I mean, we've been getting a ton of rain, especially spring training. We only got one good day outside. They say it's a little unusual here, but getting that kind of rain here, but they said they needed it. So the field holds water pretty well, and they'll be great. We'll be ready for us to play our second game out there today.
So yesterday the 80s played the Hormigas up in Kansas City at Satchel Paige Field, which dates back into the early part of the last century. It's got a right field that's less than 300 feet down the line with a 40-foot high fence, and then you've got a left field that's about 350 feet away. In some ways, it's shaped like a football field, but you're playing baseball in there. How have you given your players any kind of advice or reminders when you go in to play up there once a week?
Well, what helped out is that we opened up against Blackwell, the Flycatchers, and their stadium is not big by any means. I think it plays 344 center field, and it says 300 on the lines. I highly doubt that. So, I mean, these guys, and any place you go here in the Pecos League, you can go to Santa Fe, you're going to have a short right field. You're always playing those kind of fields that have the short part of the field, so it's not really a surprise when we see something like that,
So any pointers or reminders that you give your players, or you look out in right field and the right fielder's got his back up against the fence, it's 305 to center field, and you get the center fielder with his back up back to the fence, and then the poor left fielder, he's out there like a free safety trying to track down fly balls in left field.
And you got the grass out there. It was pretty darn thick yesterday. No, we don't get much time out there, so these guys just go out there and give it their best. We don't go out there and practice. That was our second time stepping on that field. So it was a challenge to us. I know pitchers get upset when balls leave the park, but hey, we get the same opportunity as well, So you can't. I mean, as a pros and cons, it's a beautiful stadium. We got a decent crowd, and I think we start winning some games, we'll bring out more people out there.
Right. It is been a slow start for you. I think so far you are winless. So in Kansas City, though, you got a good crowd yesterday. I think I saw a TV camera there, and I understand there was a couple of scouts checking out players as well. So it was even though it was not that big of a crowd, it had a little bit of excitement. And the way the field is built, it's kind of built into a little bit of a bowl. So it's a very intimate setting. So are you looking forward to more games there?
Yeah, we are. I mean, it's a beautiful ballpark. It's unique, and just like every other stadium in the Pecos League. But we're always traveling into there, so the guys are always tired. But I mean, once we get there, I mean, just being in that stadium, I mean, you're ready to play ball, But
any players on your team that are standing out at this point that you're looking for a strong season for, or anything coming up that you're hoping to see some results from guys that might catch people's attention?
Yeah, no doubt. Like I said, these guys from the Bravos in Mexico, I mean, second baseman Franco, he's a young kid, man, but he comes out here and very mature for his age, very mature out there on the field as well, carries himself very well, and his fellow Bravos, they follow that, You got Oscar Galvez, he's kind of leading the way, shortstop from last year, he was an all-star. So he's kind of taking a lead over the defense, and it's working out so far. We just need to get some more arms in here and get some help, the help that we need.
Now, you've also got some Austin Weirdo alumni with you as well, right?
Yes, I got two. Correct. I got two with me.
They've been with you since 23, or just since last year?
23. Alex Westman, he would have been back with me this year. That would have been his third year with me.
Yeah, Alex Westman, it was really a very tragic situation. Alex played with the Weirdos in 2023, and also last year he was actually a guest on our podcast. Last year we wanted to give our listeners a chance to hear what life on the road was like, and we caught Alex when he was driving from Tucson to Roswell. Thinking back to Alex wasn't one of those standout players. He wasn't one of the, he showed up and he loved baseball, and he was always wanted to make a contribution. He was a great influence. What are some of your memories of Alex?
Well, Westman he's one of a kind. When I first met Westman, just like everyone else, didn't know what to think of him. I took him half the year in 2023, and I decided to bring him back in 2024. He's a great veteran to have in your dugout. He does all the things right, from the littlest things right. He's out there 20 minutes before you got to be out there, and he's he watched out over everybody, you know, from little things, from vehicle problems to needing a ride to get something to eat. And he was always that person to help out the team. You know, I mean, he would show up late for games because he had to wait for someone to give a ride. He was just that kind of person, you know, and a great ball player at that. You know, he would have been out here with me again this year. He would have been my first baseman, but had some. Yes.
Alex was really a very grounded, free spirit, and he kind of marched to his own beat, but he was very, very aware of the world around him, and he really embraced everything that was around him. He died, unfortunately, in a motorcycle accident. He loved riding motorcycles, and yeah. I spoke with him a few weeks before he passed last December, and he had moved to the St. Louis area with his girlfriend and had said that he needed to spend some time on his bike in the area so he could learn the roads, because he felt at the end of the day, when he was working construction at that time, and he was working on a construction site, that at the end of the day he needed his freedom and his ability to soar, which he did on his motorcycle safely. He was a very safe driver, but unfortunately was a tragic accident. Do you have any specific recollections about Alex? Any stories that come to mind, or things that he was able to do behind the scenes to help keep the weirdos on track when they were on the road those 2 years?
There was so many memories. I couldn't pinpoint one. It was just 2023. He stayed to himself. You know, did his own thing. Didn't really hang out much. And 2024, right off the bat, he opened up and he was out here with the guys, hanging out in the parking lot till 3 in the morning. You know, just doing what we do every day. You know, after a game, you want to hang out. Westman was always there. Always keeping everyone happy, you know. I mean, he would bring out a case of beer, you know, every once in a while, and that wasn't Westman 2-3 years ago, you know. So I mean, he was really living a life at this point. He was enjoying it, and he loved being out there in Kansas City. I mean, St. Louis. He would actually drive from St. Louis 5 hours to KC to play 2 games on a Sunday. That's how much he loved the game, and just having that in the clubhouse, that fresh breath of air. That, hey, this guy is here for the right reasons, you know. He gives everyone a reminder, hey, we're here for a reason, and you know, we're not here just for fun, you know. So
yeah, ball players like Alex Westman, not a headliner, but you're going to know as a manager and a player how meaningful it is to have someone like him with you on the field and off the field to help take some of the edges off of life in the Pecos League, and to make it feel like you really belong here no matter what your role on the team. Alex was just a wonderful guy to have around. So looking ahead to this season, again, it's early. You've just had one home game here. You're still getting to know your players. Yeah. I think you're 7 or 8 games in. What are you looking forward to, and what are some of your goals this year for the KC Iola team?
Well, we're supposed to be getting some help, some arms, and I mean, that's what we're really lacking right now. Defensively, pretty solid, but we are if we go deep into our bullpen, you know, we're reaching into our bullpen for the next day, so it's always stressful on a day-to-day basis. Who's going to be out there? Are they ready to go? How much can they throw? And you also have to sometimes dig into your bench, you know, some position guys. Hey, can you go out there and still those strikes, you know? I mean, you know, we got a defense that will make plays, you know, but easier said than done, you know. It's kind of hard to put these guys, hey, go out there and pitch, you know, and they tell you they can, but you know they're just trying to do the best to help out the team, you know. And so I'm really looking forward. We're supposed to be getting help, and I think once we get that help, we'll start putting some wins together, and we'll get things going. There's plenty of baseball left, and you know, in this league, Evan, anything can happen. Like, it goes down to the last week of the season, you know. A lot of things can happen, and that's what these guys, that's what they keep showing up every day, because they know that it's a long season, very short, but it can be very long as well. So that's what keeps these guys going, and we're going to be ready out there to go play today. So
that's great. Anything, as we've said on previous episodes of the podcast, anything can happen in the Pecos League. We're sitting here with Derick, getting ready to do the interview, and Todd Everleth, the 80s manager, comes over and informs us that the game we had scheduled for tomorrow at 1 o'clock is actually a 6 o'clock game.
Yeah.
So that changes everything for tomorrow. It changes travel plans, and it even affects the college here, because they got to clean the the Red Devil duplexes to get ready for the next team coming in. So for managers like Todd and for Derick, they always have to be ready to adjust to quick changes. I want to thank you very much, Derick, for joining us here in Iola. It was great being across the dugout from you yesterday in Kansas City, and we want to wish the Hormigas good luck the rest of the season, and I think we'll see you in North Platte sometime in the near future.
Looking forward to that, Evan.
Okay.
Sure.
Thanks again, Derick, and have a good day.
You too, Evan.
And we're back. You're listening to Baseball's Last Frontier, Stories from the Pecos League. I'm Bruce McClure, and I'm here with Evan Katz, North Platte 80s bullpen coach. Good job with that interview with Derick.
It was great catching up with Derick. I mean, you got to have patience and vision to do what he's done for 3 seasons for sure.
Let's move on to more of the road trip. Let's talk about Kansas City for a few minutes.
Right. So two days ago, I mentioned we played in Satchel Paige Stadium. It was an old stadium that I think the part of the right field itself and center field was chopped off when they built a road behind it. It's less than 300 feet down the right field line, only 300 feet to dead center. So in order to make it playable for baseball, they have erected a 40-foot high chain link fence, bigger than the Green Monster. And it was really odd to play there, but it was also a little bit reminiscent of old-time baseball, concrete stands in a bowl. Our pitcher, Pierce Salvago, helped us win our 4th straight. We had 2 home runs, one by Jake Boucher and the other by Caleb Copeland. Caleb hit a 2-run homer, and Jake followed him with one over the 40-foot fence to right field. And at the end of that game, I think our ERA, we won that game 3-1. We have one of the league's top ERAs. We're scoring just enough runs to win, but when we don't score a lot, we struggle. And as it turns out, that's how we lost last night. But just to jump back to the game for 1 second, in Kansas City, we lined up for the anthem. We waited for the usual pre-recorded version of it, and we were advised by the PA announcer that we all needed to sing the national anthem. So everyone who has heard it so many times joined in, and there we were on the third base line singing the national anthem, looking out at the flag. And ultimately, we won that game. Again, last night, we struggled to score runs. I think half of our runs scored on bases loaded walks. We lost. The Hormigas won their game, their first win of the season, and we're hoping to bounce back tonight. We have Trevor Nelson on the mound again, facing the Hormigas.
And you're still on your 2,000 some odd mile road trip, and you still got, if I'm right, 7 games left, 2 in Garden City, 2 in Santa Fe, and 3 in Trinidad, right?
That is correct, right? We'll play tonight. Tomorrow morning we'll get up early. It's about a 300-mile trip to Garden City, check into the hotel, get over to the field probably around 3 or 3:30 at batting practice, and then game time is 6:30 in Garden City. One of the more highly attended ballparks in the Pecos League. It's nice to have a big crowd, even if they're rooting against us. It's nice to see a lot of people in the stands and know that there's enthusiasm by the locals for the Pecos League.
How many miles you put on the car already?
I believe we're about 700 out of the 2,100 on this 10-day trip.
That's
5 states, 2 time zones by car.
I'm going to assume you've got a good mechanic and oil change place out there too, right?
Todd took his truck to the dealer for a oil change and quick check before we left, and I think we are in good shape. He's a good driver, and I ride shotgun and provide navigation assistance as needed.
He takes care of his coaches. Love it. Do I recall something about a fundraiser you wanted to discuss?
Oh, right. Yes. When we come back, we have really generated a lot of enthusiasm in North Platte now that it's our second year. Last year, the team only had about 18 games there, and they were all at the end of the year. It was the first time. This year, there's a lot of momentum building up. When we get back from our trip on Wednesday, June 18th at 6 o'clock, one of the gym owners in North Platte, Tom Vieira, and his cousin Jerry is a big supporter of the 80s. He owns the Nebraska Athletic Club, and he opens his doors to his club for free for the players all season long. He and Gateway Realty, I believe, are hosting a band and food trucks behind the club on Wednesday, the off day when we return. You ask what we do on off days. Well, we go to fundraisers and morale boosters. From 6 to 9, we'll be out back with food trucks and entertainment, bringing fans in, and a chunk of the proceeds are going to go to help support the players for gas and food when we're on the road.
Grassroots baseball, just the way I like it. And I'm all about the food trucks. What do you got going there? Maybe I'll show up.
Oh, yeah, there's a variety. I'll let you know when I see there'll be stuff on Facebook, Bruce. You can see it on Facebook, and then of course, then Friday the 20th at 9 a.m. is our second baseball camp. Again, the players come back from the road trip, and then we have a nice way to unwind and meet people, and then Friday morning after our game Thursday night, we've got a baseball camp. So the downtime is for regrouping, going to the gym, doing laundry, getting groceries, but a chunk of it also is community outreach to let people know what we're doing, who we are. And we're really excited to come back after this road trip because there was such a nice buzz about the 80s when we left. And we're going to be home for a bunch of games with some community events. And it's a real boost for the community and for the players. And I think it really translates on the field. I think it does make a difference.
That's fantastic. Sure to be another good week for the North Platte 80s and the Pecos League. And for more information on the Pecos League, check out their website at pecosleague.com. You can catch all the action in 2025 at pecosleague.tv as well. And finally, if you're a hardcore baseball fan, you need to join the Society for American Baseball Research, the premier baseball community. Offering an amazing baseball buffet of options to explore your fandom, SABR boasts more than 35 different research communities, over 80 regional chapters, and innumerable opportunities to connect with baseball minds across the world. For more information, go to sabr.org today. Evan, any last wraps?
No, it's still early here. Guys are going to be going across to the gym for a workout. I'm going over there as well. And we'll be Todd and Trevor Nelson and Renee Colon. Myself will probably be reviewing what happened last night. And Todd will be working hard on the lineup for tonight, trying to get us back on the winning track.
The work in baseball never ends. So I think we need to let Evan get back to all of that work. For Evan Katz, I'm Bruce McClure. We'll talk to you next week.